If you're even a little into the bodybuilding community, then you must have heard the name Bradley Martyn. The guy is an absolute unit, but that does not mean he can call out anyone he wants. After all, he really wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of a punch from a professional fighter. Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about how the famous Bradley Martyn challenged Demetrious to a fight, and what are his chances of coming out on top.
Guys,
dude, I want to find that I want to find this guy you're talking about.
DJ?
I want to find him.
Yeah, I'll text him right now.
Text him. I want to try. I'm not going to fight him in a street fight. I want to just lay on top of him in.
After all, the former is built like a tank, so let's dive in. Now, before we get into the exact specifics of these two fighters, let us talk a little about the drama that brought all of this on. Bradley Martyn, a popular American YouTuber and hulking bodybuilder, brazenly boasts about his combat prowess. He's a fitness industry titan with a 260-pound body weight that makes him look like a superhero. He's also the host of the hit fitness podcast Raw Talk, in which he talks to active and former professional fighters. Both Nate Diaz and Schaub have appeared on his show as guests. One instance stands out because of Martyn's boldness. He asked famous Stockton fighter Nate Diaz if he could beat him in a street fight. Diaz responded quickly and decisively, but Martyn wasn't having any of it. Well, when he asked Diaz if he could take him, Diaz responded by saying, "Dude, you're a podcaster."
You think you beat me in a street fight?
Huh?
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You in a street fight?
Yeah.
You're a podcaster, brother.
Martyn responded by saying, "So that means yes?" And Nate replied, "For sure."
Then yes, yeah?
Of course.
I love it.
But Martyn wasn't having any of it, and he said that he would love it if both of them could go at it, but he wouldn't want to hurt him before the fight. Nate just chuckled and said that Martyn would have no chance. Oh, and he asked the same thing of Devin Haney, who also said that Martyn would have no chance against him. Martyn continued saying that if he was able to jump on him and hold him onto the floor, then maybe he would have a chance. But Haney just responded by saying that he would have to grab him, and by that time, Haney would have hit him so many times that Martyn wouldn't want to fight anymore. Well, it's true. If you don't have practice or experience of being hit by someone who is really trying to hurt you, then you're not going to do well in a fight. But that's just something that doesn't get into Martyn's head. Well, his misplaced confidence led him into a conversation with Schaub, which might have just allowed him to fulfill his dream of going at it with a professional fighter. Recently, host Schaub, bodybuilder Bradley Martyn, and Ben Davis had an exciting encounter on the Fight Companion show. Schaub revealed the shocking news that he has been communicating with none other than the infamous Mighty Mouse, Demetrious. Well, the subject of the conversation was a potential fight between him and Bradley Martyn. Well, as anyone would expect, Martyn was thrilled about this. After all the talk he has thrown about him being able to take on MMA fighters and boxers, this was his chance to actually put his words into action. But not everybody agreed. People weren't buying that a matchup like this was possible. After all, the two are in completely different weight classes, and he's a professional boxer who hadn't shown any interest in getting into a match with Bradley. But a shocking turn of events followed. The hush and doubt were broken when Demetrious resorted to social media. In a very public statement, he took to X and called out Bradley, saying that "I will see you soon." With this, the rumors died down instantly, and the anticipation skyrocketed. Many spectators were left wondering what would happen in this David versus Goliath showdown. When Mighty Mouse made his public challenge, the matchup went from improbable to imminent. So now that we have given a public call-out, let us talk about the two possible fighters and what the chances are of each overcoming the other. So let's start with Demetrious. After all, he's the professional fighter among the two. Despite his small stature of 1.60 meters, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson is widely regarded as one of the best fighters of all time in the sport of mixed martial arts. The name Mighty Mouse has become synonymous with success in MMA. Incredible speed, precision accuracy, and a firm command of Muay Thai characterize his striking ability. He's equally adept at fighting from the orthodox and southpaw positions. His opponents have a hard time figuring out what he'll do next. But Johnson is more than just a collection of fancy footwork. He is a cautious and clever fighter who prefers to outsmart rather than just overwhelm his opponents. Even though he doesn't actively seek knockouts, he's more than capable of scoring one when the situation calls for it. Just ask Joseph Benavides, who found this out the hard way. The footwork of Mighty Mouse is artistic. His every move is meticulously plotted and performed, allowing him to avoid harm while simultaneously unleashing devastating counterattacks. He has spent many hours on the mat honing his craft, and it shows. Johnson maintains command of the situation whether he's on his back or his feet, and he seldom misses an opportunity to switch roles, attempt a submission, or strike a hit. Johnson takes an unconventional approach to grappling. He doesn't merely engage in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practice. He's a dedicated fighter who knows the value of wrestling in mixed martial arts. His wrestling history from high school is evident in how he trains now. Since 2011, especially against elite competition, he has had a stellar 65% takedown defense rate and 56% takedown completion rate. Johnson's seemingly inexhaustible reserves of energy are also noteworthy. He's a walking cardiovascular machine, able to go the distance in championship bouts lasting 5 rounds or more. He recognizes the value of endurance training, unlike some other fighters who may overlook its significance. He's aware of the correlation between fatigue and a decline in performance, and he takes precautions to avoid falling into that trap. Okay, so on one side, you have the guy that we just talked about, and then you have Bradley Martyn. He stands a towering 6 feet 3 inches tall at a hefty 245 pounds. He's an impressive display of strength and physique. It's not simply his stature that's noteworthy, though. Look at his chest. It measures an incredible 49 inches and is made entirely of muscle, thanks to his dedication in the gym. The 20-inch circumference of his muscular arms is a further indication of his strength and determination. All of this is beautifully in harmony with a slim 34-inch waist, capping off a wonderful physical form. Bradley Martyn is more than simply a set of statistics. He represents what the human body is capable of when driven by a passion for physical perfection. Many look forward to him as a role model because he exemplifies what can be accomplished with hard work and dedication. Well, it's truly impressive, and kudos to the guy for being so disciplined. But that does not mean that he can simply take on whomever he wants. Well, for someone who isn't trained or as big as him, taking him out might seem impossible. But for someone who has dedicated his life to fighting and taking on much bigger opponents, Bradley is nothing more than another day at the office. The man simply doesn't have the experience for a professional fight. Like, there's a video out there that shows him going at it with a jiu-jitsu instructor, and from the get-go, it's apparent that he's out of his depth. He tries to use his body to his advantage, but someone with professional training, like the instructor in the video, just uses it against Bradley and throws him on the mat again and again. And all of the efforts just seem to tire Bradley out. So now you have both a lack of professional training and a lack of stamina to boot. How is this guy ever going to survive in a match that requires both? Okay, now for more perspective. Let us put him up with someone who has a little training. Take the security guard with whom he wrestled for fun. The guard is almost the same size as him, but he is a bit more trained, and after an initial struggle, he just grabs him from the back and thumps him all over the place, ending the stint with a chokehold. Well, all of these have been for fun, but Martyn is surely going to struggle against someone who is trained and has a name to protect. So we can expect quite a short match if he ever goes up against Mighty Mouse. So that's all the time we had today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, watch for updates on these events, and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time.